why are you excited to be here tonight?
Because I'm just excited.
Yeah. No other explanation. Now, I do believe, tell me the truth, is it true that your dad has a ringside seat but didn't get you guys ringside seats?
That is true, but it's because of his YouTube channel, okay? It's his YouTube, okay?
Her dad's an influencer. Let him go, guys. But your dad's awesome, right?
Yeah.
See, he's awesome. Yeah! Give it up for Claire. Thank you so much, Claire. High five. Yeah.
Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's the radioactive pop with Danny Limelight, United Wrestling Network World Heavyweight Champion. And make sure you tune into the Alliance Blog every week. You heard it here first. Straight from Bobby.
So, what day is it today?
Tuesday?
Wrong. It's NWA Day.
They want NWA? Let's give them NWA.
I was thinking that it might be a good idea if you and I formed an alliance.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Attention, everyone. Welcome to the greatest wrestling program in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
Okay, let's party.
It's the pre-party with J. Cal.
Here's the story now. If I see Kevin Owens, or even someone who looks like Kevin Owens, I drop them on sight.
Good luck, Cody. What's up, everybody? I'm back. And this is the pre-party. The all-new, all-different pre-party with your boy J. Cal. Right here on YouTube.com/The Alliance Blog, Twitch.com/The Alliance Blog, and Kick.com/The Alliance Blog. What is up, everybody? It is a Tuesday, and I am here, man. I'm here. I'm feeling good. I'm not looking great, but I'm feeling good. This time last week, I was on an airplane, flying over Iceland. Maybe I made descent into Canadian waters. I don't know. But what is up, everybody? Bobby says you're back better than ever. Hell yeah. Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate you, brother. But yeah, I am very happy to see all of you guys here as well. Steve G's in the house. Thank you, sir. Do appreciate that. I fooled Jeremy earlier. We were live on the mobile streaming version of YouTube. Yeah, I've been trying to play around with this whole thing. You know, there's so many options that YouTube presents itself. You don't even need to be in a studio anymore. You could just have your phone like TikTok and be on your phone like TikTok, except for it's on YouTube. It's pretty awesome. And it's something that I plan to play with a little bit more, because I think at the end of the day, what my goal was when I started all of this was to create a community where we could interact, whether it be via Blog Talk Radio or the Echo message boards from back in the day. And, now we've got Discord, we've got YouTube, we've got Spotify. I mean, right now you could say, hey, Alexa, play the Alliance Blog podcast. And some of you are listening to that right now because I said that. Mine is playing right now. So that's awesome. But yeah, it's fun, man. What do you think of the new dog champion? I dig the new dog champion, to be quite honest. Vinny the Fixer, who we've had feelers out in the past to bring him onto this show, not this one, the Alliance Blog podcast. Hopefully we could get that, lock that down. Maybe Dr. Lawrence Draconium could throw us a crumb and we could get that going. But yeah, man, good stuff, man. It's been a good time. Had a heck of a time in the United Kingdom. We spent like 4 days in London, 4 days in Edinburgh, Scotland. Willie Bowen, I know I don't see Willie Bowen in the chat, but I wanted to share something. If anyone sees Willie Bowen, you can tell him that your boy Jay did get to hang out with Fiona in Scotland. That's not photoshopped. You can go to her Instagram page. That's not photoshopped. Yeah, we got to hang out in Scotland. I was at Rev Pro. That was like 3 weeks ago now, but I went to Rev Pro and I showed some of these clips on the Alliance Guys podcast, but I'm gonna show it real quick one more time. You like that slow focus out. Yeah, it was a good time. We traced our ancestral heritage. My wife and I, she is a Gordon on her mother's side of the family. And Castle Huntley was owned by the Gordons, and my wife could trace her heritage 8 generations back to that freaking castle that we visited. That was cool. I literally got to go to an island that is literally between Belfast and Liverpool, out in the Irish Ocean, and I got to be on the steps and the roads that my ancestors walked on. So it was really, really cool. Had a great time. I know you guys didn't ask, but you got it anyways. Bobby says, what wrestlers did you watch at Rev Pro that you'd like to see challenge for an NWA belt? Chris Ridgway, right off the bat, would be an excellent addition to the NWA junior heavyweight division. In fact, he in the past was a part of the NWA with Fight Nation when our friend Billy Wood was part of the National Wrestling Alliance with Fight Nation, which was IPW UK for a short time. But yeah, Michael Oku, I feel like would be a good addition to the junior heavyweight division as well, because although he's a very big guy, like you saw in the video, I still think he's probably junior heavyweight sized. And he is a hell of a talent, but I don't see Rev Pro being a real good fit for the NWA anyways. Rev Pro, I think, would be more in line with what Pro Wrestling Guerrilla used to be. And I feel like the people who were watching Rev Pro are probably more inclined to probably be AEW fans. And I don't mean that as an insult. I just feel like the styles mesh up a little bit better. Willie, I didn't see your tires joke. Oh, there it is. I got it. Hey, J. Cal, Tyrus is taking up weightlifting. He can lift a fork, spoon, knives, and a plate. I heard he goes 3 plates on the squat rack. That's funny to me because I did leg day today. So before we get too far involved, I just want to say again, thanks for everyone for hanging out, being back here. I missed you guys, and I know that sounds weird because I was in a literal paradise for me, but I miss doing the live content, and of course, seeing you guys hanging out here in the chat is really makes my heart feel good, and I'm glad we're here together. So I do want to say what's up to Steve G, Championship Wrestling from Jeremy, Bobby Batito's in the house, Sean Mega back again. The noob is here, Millennial Noob is here. Roswell's in the house. He's in the weight room listening right now. We've got Kukushi in the house. Roswell says that, let's see, I like Tom and Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. I like the way he moves over there. We discussed a little bit on Thursday night. Rick Del Santo and I were talking about Maple Leaf Pro and how, I don't know, are they booking the world's heavyweight champion or are they booking Tom Latimer? If EC3 was your world's heavyweight champion of the National Wrestling Alliance, would he be the one wrestling in Maple Leaf Pro? Or is Scott D'Amore infatuated with our Tom Latimer, and is he just using one of the best talents that are available out there? Is he giving these title matches because Tom is the world champion, or is he would he be giving these title matches? Would he give this time to somebody else? And I think that's a really interesting question, and I'm curious as to what you guys think about that. The great Hisa is here. What is up, Hisa? Rosville's in the weight room right now, dude. I did leg day today, and so being a high school football player who had very little upper body strength, I had a ton of lower body strength, and where guys on my team were bench pressing like 300 pounds, I was lucky to bench like 180 pounds, but they couldn't. I matched them on the squats, right? Like they were doing 400, I was doing 400. I probably couldn't squat 400 today, but I did squat like 275. I was doing calf raises. I stacked the whole damn tray. Sorry, I'm going off. Sean Mega says he loves Bram. Oh, and that's cool, man. That's cool. If do you think if Tom Latimer lost the title that those bookings would still happen? Would they just be using Tom Latimer as a Maple Leaf Pro wrestler and not the NWA World Heavyweight Champion? Guardian of Chaos. Yeah, Rick is the best, man. Rick is going to hang out with us for a few more weeks on the Alliance Guys podcast. Unfortunately, our dear friend DKM is going to take some time away from the live stream on Thursday nights for a while. Of course, the door is always open. That seat is always held for him. But we're going to be doing some different things in the next couple weeks, and hopefully you guys will still enjoy it. We're going to still talk NWA. But you might see some new faces and some more familiar faces on Thursday nights. Bobby Petito says, your thoughts on Stu Grayson going after Tom Latimer's NWA World Championship on May 10th at Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling? Bobby, that's a great question, man. I feel like you're loading me up here. Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling has been... Sorry, Devin got me on this one. Yeah, man. You know what it was is there was so much popular demand. My post got 10 entire likes on YouTube and like 3 more on Facebook. So how could I deny those 13 individuals an opportunity to hang out with me on the pre-party every Tuesday? So we brought it back. We're back. Oh man, I got to get back to there. You guys are going really fast and my brain is having difficulty keeping up, but let me get to my point about Tom and Maple Leaf Pro, and then I will talk about EC3 in that same spot. It was 10 likes, man. Look, I couldn't get 1,000 likes to go to the Crockett Cup. I mean, you guys are gonna have to watch Crockett Cup without me because I didn't get my 1,000 likes on Instagram, Facebook, or anything else. Sean, you know that won't happen. They can't be unfiltered. There's the ego on top is a little too fragile to do an honest discussion about it. But sorry, I was reading Noob's comment. I'll rewatch the match between Natalia Markova and Hunter on the NWA YouTube channel, and as evidence on the comments on their YouTube, there was a lot of negativity on that match. And then Double D says, Noob, I love the NWA, hate the IWC. Yeah, I mean, look, we can't, as NWA fans, we can't bury our head in the sand and be like, look, we don't care what you think about us. We don't care what you think about the NWA, because we need more people to watch the NWA. We need more people to be invested in the National Wrestling Alliance. But that doesn't happen by having matches that aren't great. And I think Markova is a phenomenal talent. I'm not entirely convinced yet that Hunter Drake is the right guy. But, he doesn't have to be. Hunter Drake is still young. He's still early in his NWA power status. Like, I don't know. Maybe he gets put in the junior heavyweight division and lights the world on fire. But right now, I would not waste Markova's time wrestling somebody like Hunter Drake. Intergender wrestling aside, I don't think that was a match that was worthy of Natalia Markova. I think Markova is a much better talent than doing matches like that with Hunter Drake, my opinion. All right. Bobby Man, I would love for Scott D'Amore to book the NWA, but I don't think that is in the cards. The thing is, and we have to be honest about this too, Billy Corgan is the NWA. The NWA is Billy Corgan. You don't get the NWA without Billy Corgan, which means you're going to continue to have Billy on commentary. You're going to have Billy booking the show. And for better or for worse, that's just what it is. And you have two options. You can grin and bear it, or you could stop watching. I'm not going to stop watching, but that's entirely up to you. That's a decision you got to make. So Double D, like, I know you're a lot younger than me, but you don't understand, man. In the 80s, walking to Esther Lindstrom Elementary School, I was rapping Dope Man. Yo, Mr. Dope Man, you think you're slick. You sold crack to my sister, and now she's sick. But if she happens to die because of your drugs, I'm putting in your culo a 38 slug. Yeah. All right. That was weird. I can't believe I did that. All right. I'm going to answer Bobby's question about Tom Latimer and Maple Leaf Pro and Stu Grayson. I don't exactly think that Stu Grayson is a main event, high caliber wrestler, but I'm interested in the matchup. Stu Grayson is a very talented wrestler, and at this point in his career, he is probably more well known than most of the guys in the NWA. With no disrespect intended to Silas Mason, to Carson Drake, or to the other 10 guys that they've used in that role, Stu Grayson was on AEW programming. He got FaceTime on the second biggest wrestling company in North America. And I feel like there's something to be said about that. Now, is Stu Grayson going to walk away with the 10 pounds of gold? No. But will he have a good match with Tom? Absolutely. And what we saw with Maple Leaf Pro already booking Bishop Dyer against Tom Latimer and now booking Stu Grayson against Tom Latimer, we're seeing that Maple Leaf Pro is putting some stock at the very least into Tom Latimer, and at the very most, maybe they're having some interest in working with the NWA. Personally, I'm kind of surprised that the NWA didn't take that opportunity to bring Bishop Dyer to an NWA event, be it Hard Times, obviously not the Crockett Cup, but maybe at the 77th anniversary show. Maybe a rematch could happen. They've already got something of a storyline built up from it based on Maple Leaf Pro. But at the same time, maybe Billy has no interest in using plot lines that were booked by Scott D'Amore. Maybe that's not what he's interested in. And again, whether you like Billy or not, this is his NWA, and we're just living in it. So with that being said, looking at the National Wrestling Alliance and their relationship with Maple Leaf Pro, or just Scott D'Amore booking the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion Tom Latimer, I don't know, to be quite honest. EC3 as World's Heavyweight Champion took the belt to All Japan Pro Wrestling, a place that hadn't been since 1989. He took the belt to Australia. He took the belt to where else did he go? Obviously, the United Kingdom and Canada, those were pretty normal places for him, but really took that belt all over. I mean, he took it to places that it hadn't been in years. Brought the belt to Southern California. We hadn't seen the NWA World Heavyweight Championship in Southern California since Nick Aldis defended it against Mike Bennett back at the first primetime live taping back during the pandemic. So seeing that title travel, at least in my parts, was pretty cool, man. And I give EC3 a lot of respect, right? Respect, props for bringing that belt across the United States. But I don't see him fitting into that Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling mold. And if he was still world champion, I don't know that we would have the 10 pounds of gold on that program. That's not to say that I wouldn't want to see it, but I think that's pretty good. I think it's a pretty good dynamic for the NWA, and I hope they capitalize on it. You know, like let's put the cards on the table, right? Let's say that EC3 doesn't get that title back, and let's say that Rhino wins the title at Crockett Cup. Could you see Rhino heading to Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling against Tom Latimer or against somebody? I mean, look, I'm not telling anyone what to do, but If I'm booking the NWA, I'd get on the phone with Scott D'Amore and say, what's your next show after May 17th? April, May, June, July. Maybe it's July, right? Their next show is in May. Maybe their next event's in June or July. Let's do this, Scott D'Amore. We are going to book Rhino versus Tom Latimer, and you could have the rematch on your card. To me, that'd be pretty dope. So Rhino, he lives in Michigan, right? How far is the flight from Michigan to the Maple Leaf Pro? For those of you who didn't read the comment, Double D says Rhino didn't come to Northern New York. No chance he's going to Canada. I don't know, man. If the money's right. Double D says, sorry for spamming the chat, but Stu Grayson with the Dark Order invading the NWA could be something. I mean, that's not what I want, but I wouldn't be shocked if Billy did that. That sounds like something Billy might be interested in doing. Hey, you put Sinister Minister in that group. There you go. Bobby Batista says Richard Holiday would be a great contender for 2 for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. There are a lot of talents out there that I think would be great challengers for the 10 pounds of gold. But as of right now, I don't know what Billy's goal is. And that's the thing. We can only speculate. Who would I like to see? Right now, I'm kind of hoping that Karrion Kross gets axed from the WWE and Billy goes and backs up a Brinks trucks to his house and give him as much money as it takes to get him on the NWA roster. I think Karrion Kross in the NWA would be fire. It's not going to happen, but that's what I would like. Chris says Rhino's a D'Amore guy. See, so I'm not crazy for speculating that, right, Chris? And think about it this way. If Tom Latimer defeats Rhino straight up at the ECW arena, no interference, no cheating, no nothing, Tom Latimer wins, who's talking about that? Who's paying attention to that? What internet eyeballs are you bringing to the NWA if Tom Latimer has another successful title defense? But if 50-year-old Rhino, I think he's 50 years old. Alexa, how old is Rhino? Of course, it gives me the rhinoceros. Stupid. Rhino was born in 1975. That makes him 3 years older than me. So he's like 49. He's 50. Rhino is 50. If Rhino won the title at 50 years of age in the ECW arena, do you not think people would be talking about that? I do. All the dirt sheets would be lining up. Everyone would be talking about Rhino winning the World Heavyweight Championship. That is some baller status. And I know, you don't want to hot shot the title to get attention, but wouldn't this be the perfect time to do it? And if Bobby is correct, says that the next show is July 5th, could we wait a few months to have Rhino versus Tom Latimer for the 10 pounds of gold back on Maple Leaf Pro and do another title switch? I'm just saying, everything would be fixed in time for the anniversary show. And in terms of NWA programming, it would be right in line with the TV taping schedule for Maple Leaf Pro, because by the time Crockett Cup airs on TV, it'll probably be July anyways. I don't know if I'm onto something here, but I think I'm onto something here. Let's see. Vacant TV title. That TV title. At this point, what value does the TV title have with anybody in the NWA? Whether it be Big Mamas or Carson Drake. Now, I know Carson Drake surrendered the belt to challenge for the 10 pounds of gold through the best of 7 series. And I don't know who the next television champion is. There hasn't been any news about it. And I would hate to think that they'd keep that belt vacant from Hard Times till the Crockett Cup. But And with the way that Crockett Cup is scheduled to be, it's a title. It's literally a tag team tournament. You can't do another TV title battle royal or 4-way dance. Like, that's been done to death. Maybe they just leave the title vacant for a while. Let's see. Steve G's waiting for them Lakers. Yeah, man. Lakers, let's go. They got Luka. They should take it all. Double D says more people definitely know Rhino than Tom Latimer or even Bram. Yeah, and that's the honest truth. And that's not us trying to it's not us trying to put anything sour on that NWA name or on Tom Latimer. Just the facts are facts. Rhino was world heavyweight champion in one of the hottest times for ECW. Of course, that the barrel fell out and ECW went out of business. But Rhino had a pretty decent career with the WWE after that, had a pretty good run in TNA after that. And those are two national broadcasted wrestling companies. Hell, Rhino was in TNA just like 6 months ago. And even though the TNA wrestling has less reach than most wrestling companies out there, they get more eyeballs on whatever channel they're on today than the NWA does on X, on Twitter. Then Rhino can't win clean at Crockett Cup, and Latimer would have to win clean at Maple Leaf Pro, so Tom doesn't lose credit. I mean, there's ways around all of this, right? Not that your boy Jay is directly connected to anything with the NWA, but I recently wrote about about Rhino's connection to Billy Corgan, and it's not unheard of for an owner to kind of manipulate the title match. And although in his role, outside of a few disparaging comments about Nick Aldis on the way out, for the most part, Billy Corgan has remained very neutral on his program. He hasn't really taken favorites. He hasn't really put anybody over more so than anybody else. I don't know. I wouldn't hate it. And remember when Tom Latimer was a part of Strictly Business and they would talk about the conspiracy Corgan? It would all come full circle, wouldn't it? Let's see. Bobby Petito says, I've been enjoying Kenzie Page's reign as NWA Women's World Champion. She's a fighting champion like the Brickhouse Camille. Yes. You can't take away what Kenzie Page has done as the women's world champion. I wrote about this just yesterday, the shove that rocked the industry, and I'm sure you guys have seen it already. If you're not, it's on X. You could go to alliance-wrestling.com. We have it up there. Let me see if I can do it. I'll try to do it. We'll try to do it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, but let's try, right? What's the harm in trying, right? Of course, it'd work better if I did that first. I've told you guys lots of times that I'm not a professional, right? You guys know that, right? Everything in here has been taught in-house. Let's see. Can we do this? We're going to try. All right. Let's see. There it is. All right. So you can tell how good I am at all this. I should hire a producer, but.
Whoa! Right into the ring. The fight continues. I don't think anyone expected that.
I could have got a good look. Who was it? Was that Kenzie Page?
It was.
Is that Kenzie Page? It sure hell was. That was your NWA Women's Champion. I don't think she worked any dates in Vegas. I don't think she worked WrestleMania weekend, but she was there to confront Natty Neidhart, the other Natalia. And holy crap, man. The energy was palpable, man. Woo! You know how Natty responded online? She said, P.S. Kenzie's dead when I see her. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Daddy? Let's see. I can't do that. Here's a different angle. I hope I don't get in trouble for this. Where'd it go? Why can't I do this? Sorry. I should have had this better planned. I didn't. I apologize. All right, let's go. I don't think you can hear the audio on this one, but it's a different angle. Look how it's such more dramatic at this angle. Ooh. You guys feel that? You guys feel that? That's the winds of change. Are you kidding me? At Game Changer Wrestling's Bloodsport, not only did you have Kenzie Page in attendance, you had our very own JR Kratos in the ring with Karrion Kross. What the hell? You had Charlie Dempsey from the WWE. You had Shayna Baszler. You had Natty Neidhart, all from the WWE. You had Kratos in the ring. You've had a lot of great talents in the ring. That was huge, man. That was big time news. That has been pushed more and bigger than Rhino showing up at Hard Times 5. It is the first time since the bygone era of the Dennis Corluzzo era, where we're seeing WWE talent work for the NWA. And that is bonkers to me. And is this just a one-off? Could we see more of it? The WWE has been open to working with other wrestling promotions. We saw that with Game Changer Wrestling. We see that with the WWE ID. A lot of those guys now are working everywhere. I mean, you've got WWE ID talent working for United Wrestling Network. You've got seeing them work with Reality Wrestling, Future Stars of Wrestling. I mean, they're all over the place. What's stopping, Jack Cartwheel from returning to the NWA? What's stopping, Ice Williams from turning into the NWA? Hell, you mentioned Karrion Kross. He's not doing a whole lot right now. Wouldn't it be interesting if Karrion Kross got to say that Natty got to come to the NWA? Almost didn't know us. We are in a crazy time right now. So nothing, I think, is entirely out of the question. And if Natty Neidhart comes to the Crockett Cup, she is coming to the Crockett Cup. If she comes to the Crockett Cup and is put in the ring against the women's world champion, Kenzie Page, I could see her walking out with the title. I could see her leaving with the Burke. If that happens, obviously she'll be back. If it doesn't happen, we know it was a one-off thing. But either way, it's really freaking cool. And say what you will about what WWE is doing, but I feel like that is creating an opportunity. That is growing the wrestling economy. That is putting eyeballs on a product that doesn't benefit the WWE in any sort of way to focus on the NWA, to give the NWA eyeballs. That's kind of what's happening. I'm going to read your guys' comments here. WWE superstar debuting in the NWA against the NWA Women's Champion. That'll definitely shake women's wrestling. I mean, it's a huge deal, right? And let's just pretend for a minute that it's a foregone conclusion. Natty Neidhart wins the Burke. Does she take it to the main event? Does she take it to NXT? Does she take it to SmackDown? Does she defend the title on X? I mean, the possibilities are limitless. Do I expect her to be at WrestleMania in a year from now defending the Burke? No, I don't. I don't expect her to defend it at SummerSlam or Payback or any of the other WWE pay-per-views or premium live events that are coming up. But how cool would it be to see the Burke on a WWE program? How cool would it be to see Natty Neidhart defend that title in a WWE arena, an NXT arena? Hell, I'd even take a Evolve show. I think this is a really big deal, and I really feel like if the cards are being played correctly, that everyone can benefit from this, including Natty Neidhart. Natty Neidhart hasn't been in the WWE title picture for quite some time. And even with the secondary titles, the the U.S. champ, the IC champ. She wasn't really much of a factor in those title decisions. She came out to that Bloodsport event, and she was a very different Natty Neidhart. Very focused, very determined, and very violent. If she brings that same intensity to the NWA, look out, Ken. More of your guys' comments. That match is Crockett Cup. It was big news, like Mania was. Yeah, I mean, it's huge. It's huge. Figure 4 says the buzz Kenzie creates versus that flat line that is Tom. We need a men's title champion. Figure 4, that's pretty, wow. Wow. Tell me how you really feel, Figure 4. I still think that there's still mileage to get with Tom Latimer. I don't think we've reached the pinnacle yet. But the NWA needs to do something. I can't be more excited about a match that's happening in Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling than I am about a match that's happening at the ECW arena. And I do feel like Man Beast Rhino and Tom Latimer will have a great bout at Crockett Cup. They need to do something to get some juice into this. And as I talk about this, you guys are going to hate me for this, but I've been exploring, right? I go and I look and see what's happening in the NWA. I see what's happening with our champions. And lo and behold, Tom Latimer is defending the 10 pounds of gold against Silas Young, somebody who I'm shocked isn't in the NWA already. And this is a part of the IWR Insane WrestleFest. You can see it on Triller next weekend. You know who else will be at that event at the IWR Fan Fest? A guy named Rhino. What if Rhino interferes on behalf of Tom Latimer to secure that title match for himself? What happens if they just brawl out the street? It's supposed to be a title versus title match. You know the best way to have a finish to a title versus title match? Having the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship interfere. I don't know, man. Am I putting on the tinfoil hat here? Is it me? Am I the weird one? Willie says, what happened to Blake Bulletproof True? We haven't seen him in quite some time. I haven't seen him in any wrestling promotion in quite some time. Hope he's doing well. He wasn't. I don't think he was ready for the spotlight that he got within the NWA. But maybe he is now. Maybe they should check in on him, see what he's doing. It would be interesting to see a WWE tag team in the NWA ring. I mean, right now, I don't think there's a tag team more dominant than Knox and Murdoch, right? Murdoch's, I think, is the top of the chain right now. Maybe Lashley and Benjamin might be better, but there's very few tag teams that are more intimidating to me than Murdoch's. I don't think there's a tag team in the WWE that would match up with those guys. Pay-per-view. Crockett Cup is going to be a pay-per-view streaming somewhere, right? Unfortunately, Double D, the Crockett Cup is part of the signature live event series, which means it'll be featured on X as part of the Power lineup. It'll probably slide into sometime, I would guess, like late June or early July. Willie Bowen says that Rhino is a former world heavyweight champion in the NWA TNA days. Yes, he held the belt for 2 days. Now, he was a constant challenger for that title in his time in TNA, but his actual time with the belt, he won it at Slammiversary and then lost it a few days later to Jeff Jarrett. So his run was short with it. But that doesn't mean you can't do something with him now. And look, there's only been like 70-some NWA World Heavyweight Champions. And a lot of those are like, double up, like, Adam Pearce held it 5 times, right? So there's not that many men that have held the 10 pounds of gold. Rhino's one of them. Can't take that away from him. Sam Retro says the NWA Alliance firm, happy NWA Alliance fam, happy Tuesday. Retro, are you going to be at the Crockett Cup? Who's going to the Crockett Cup? Leave a comment if you're going to Crockett Cup. Retro, yeah, he didn't have a long run. He had like a 2-day run with the title. Steve G, we don't know who won the number one contender match at Hard Times 5, probably around the summertime. Yeah. And the thing is about that, and I think we're talking about the women's title. We know that it's safe to assume that Markova won that opportunity. I'm guessing. I haven't seen all of the results for Hard Times 5, and I don't remember the results, and I did see for Hard Times 5. It's safe to assume that Markova will be in the picture, but it doesn't necessarily have to be at Crockett Cup. It could be at the anniversary show. It could be at any one of the signature live events they do afterwards. It could be at a TV taping. Cody Rhodes also was for a short time. Yeah, Cody held the belt for like 38 days, something like that. I think he had one title defense in Ring of Honor. He showed up with the United Wrestling Network with the title, but didn't actually defend it. Yeah. Silas Young, that's right. Can you see Tom cutting promos like Rhino, a guy that threatened the Sandman's family? Figure 4, man. I dig you, man. Make sure you come back here next week, too. No, nobody was as intense as Rhino. Maybe Taz, but I feel like Tom Latimer could have a great match. This is, and if we're being honest, guys, these guys know each other very well. Rhino and Tom have teamed together. They've faced off against each other. They are very well known to one another. So this matchup that happens at Crockett Cup, believe me, these two know each other well. I feel like they're going to have a good match. I feel like they're going to try their very best to take it to the next level. Tom Latimer has to know that being the world's heavyweight champion means that he needs to have the best match on the show. That's going to be double tough, considering that Natty Neidhart's going to be on the card. And if it's Natty Neidhart versus Kenzie Page, I think it's going to be a hell of a match. I'm almost afraid that they're going to do Kenzie Page and Kenzie and Kylie versus the Natalias, and I really hope they don't do that. But I feel like that's something that can be in play. Just got the weirdest message. Silas Young for TV champ. He was a 2-time ROH TV champ. Also an NWA Midwest champ. Of course, you would have known that if you visited the alliance-wrestling.com website and checked out the article I wrote about the matchup that is coming up between Silas Young and our guy Tom Latimer, the 10 pounds of gold on the line. Both titles are on the line. The winner should walk away with both belts. Bobby Bazzuto says Spencer slated for the NWA National Heavyweight Championship in 2025. I don't hate that at all, Spencer or Bobby. Spencer Slade, I feel, is a very talented individual. I feel like he's being underutilized. I feel like putting him with El Jefe was not the right fit for him. I feel like he should have been maybe pushed as a baby face. But, what do I know? Willie Bones is Triple H's man's personal string marionette. I hope not. I don't know what Triple H is doing. I don't watch WWE when TNA's involved. Did you see Joe Henry at WrestleMania? The last real man, Silas should have been NWA, just like the entire foundation of the ROH. Yeah, I don't understand why Silas Young would have fit perfectly in the NWA mold. The only thing I think that might hold him back is he's not 6'4", which that happens to be one of Billy's qualifications. To be this, to ride the ride, you need to be this tall for Billy Corgan, which I think is stupid, right? We've seen lots of shorter guys do great things in the wrestling industry, and not everyone needs to be a cookie cutter version of the same thing. Nick Aldis was 6'4", Tom was about 6'4". Jax was about 6'2", 6'3". Tim Storm was about 6'2". I believe I want to say that Trevor was probably about 6'3". So I mean, Cardona's like 6'2", 6'1", something like that. Anyway, nice to see the Money Birds back in the NWA ring. Both of them would be great addition to the women's tag team division. Yes, I agree. The Money Birds back in the NWA is a good thing. I feel like the NWA, where they are at their weakest, is the women's division, up and down. It was a strong point for them not too long ago, but when you look, we haven't seen Tiffany Nieves back in the main event picture. They put her in the tag team with the Star after Ella Envy left. We've got the women's world champion and the women's television champion as the tag team champions. We haven't seen Ruthie J since her match with La Rosa Negra. The NWA is struggling when it comes to the women's division. They have some really good, talented pieces, but they need to have a roster. You cannot have 3 pieces of really good quality talent and call that a roster. It needs to fill itself out, and right now it just isn't. No one's talking about Mims because they haven't given Mims anything to do. And again, this is the problem with the NWA. I hate to be a broken record here, but what do they want to be? The national title used to be the top prize behind the 10 pounds of gold. In the hierarchy of the NWA, you had the world's heavyweight champion. And right below that, you had the North American champion. And right below that, you had the national champion. That was your champion and your number 1 contender and your number 2 contender. And now you just need to win 7 matches as a TV champion. National champion doesn't get any recognition at all. I didn't know who the hell Rhino was until he gored Spike Dudley through a table in 2021. Don't you lose the impact of a title change if it is not live or shown the weekend that the event takes place? Figure 4, man. I don't know how new you are to the show, but this is what we've been preaching for the last year. Ever since they went to CW, the turnaround from content to distribution has been terrible. And yes, it does hurt the excitement level. I mean, look, we're talking about Hard Times, which was filmed back in March, that we won't see until probably May, June, maybe. And, Rhino had that impact. He showed up on the main event after the match, and we're not going to see that on TV for at least another 2 months. Well, maybe sooner if they decide to shift things around. But as of right now, it doesn't seem like that's going to be. We might see it before the Crockett Cup. It might happen before the Crockett Cup, and that's terrible. I hope NWA Chicago would start streaming soon. Yeah. Double D, I'll talk to you about that offline, man. WWE needs more women and women's tag teams. Yeah, absolutely. The NWA is struggling right now when it comes to women's wrestling. And that's why I think having Natty Neidhart show up is going to be such a big moment for them. Ella Envy left, within the past few years. The Renegade Twins are gone. Lisa Kate is gone. Ren Sinclair is in the WWE. Maddie Renkowski from those 2 before. You don't have the Team Bs aren't even around anymore. And there's been a difficulty keeping tag teams within the NWA. Like M95 was great, but Maddie got signed. Okay, you got to move to the next thing. And then they couldn't keep Lisa Kate either. Lisa Kate left with the whole Chicago exodus. It's crazy that there's an NWA Chicago and there are 3 Chicago pieces that are no longer even in the NWA. It's wild to me. Raza says NWA Chicago have to be running shows to do that. I mean, again, there's a YouTube channel that the NWA has that all of this stuff should be featured. It should be on there. I get that Power is exclusive to X and you can show matches on Power on YouTube or whatever, but there's an entire territory organization. And the stupidest thing of all is that Billy Corgan is not only is he the president, but he's also a member. He has NWA Chicago. That's his territory. There's no reason why NWA Chicago isn't on X or on Twitter or I guess that's the same thing, or on YouTube or whatever. It's crazy. Bobby says tonight's episode is from February. That was 2 months ago. Almost 3. Yowzers. Bobby also says that the NWA needs to build up contenders for Alex Taylor. They have been working on that. I will give them credit for that. They have had some, they've been building up Alex Misery. They've been building up a couple other guys. I give them credit for, Spencer Slade is a part of that. I think Joe Ocasio is part of that. There have been some guys built up for that junior heavyweight division. But, I mean, even as that stands, like they just announced for Crockett Cup that Carey and Taylor will be representing the Southern Six at the Crockett Cup. So it's not like you're going to even see Taylor defend the title at the Crockett Cup. You don't have the Hex in the NWA anymore. Yeah, they're gone too. There is not one tag team that have held the titles in the women's division still in the NWA today. That's problematic. Team B's are in ASC Wrestling now. And that's great. That's cool. The NWA needs women's tag teams. There's ladies out there that they have access to. I mean, I personally, again, talked about the relationship that seems to be brewing with Maple Pro, the relationship that seems to be happening with WWE, at the very least, with Natty Neidhart. I feel like it was a big opportunity for the NWA to have partnered with WOW. I don't know what I don't know what the commitment level is from WOW. I don't know how much David McLean is willing to work with other companies, but they have a wealth of women tag team. That's all they are in the wrestling promotion. And I think it would be so cool if Kenzie Page were to take the Burke and defend it on a episode of WOW, or having a tag from WOW come to the NWA. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity there. But again, there's a lot of egos involved. David McLean's ego, William Patrick Corrigan's ego, and then to gently massage the egos of the talent involved. Like someone from WOW want to do the job to Big Mama and Kenzie Page. These are questions that have to be answered, and I don't know. Tom Latimer, unlike Tyrus, is a traveling world heavyweight champion. Well, we do know this, right? We know that Tom Latimer is now taking the title to Canada. He's defended in the United States. I mean, he just recently was in Sacramento, did title defenses at the World Cheese Festival. We know that he was in Scotland defending the title for the Scottish wrestling promotion. But until the NWA does something to help promote Tom Latimer and his 10 pounds of gold, it's all the same. EC3 took that title to All Japan Pro Wrestling. We never saw one clip of that on the NWA social media, not on YouTube, not on X. I mean, how hard would it have been just to show clips of that match on an episode of Power? How much red tape would they have had to cut through to do that? EC3 had the 10 pounds of gold in Australia. EC3 took the title of Southern California. EC3 took the title of the UK and Canada. All this stuff is happening, and the NWA is like, and I don't get it. Double D with the Tyrus joke of the day. Willie, Tyrus could move the worldwide with only one roll. I have for some reason bubble wraps on the floor over here, and I rolled my chair back and scared the shit out of it. So, of course, I would be remiss if we didn't talk about tonight's episode of Power. Of course, Power is exclusive to the app known as X, which is available on your phone, on your Apple or Android, as well as on your PC. That's how I watch it. I watch it on my PC. In tonight's matchup, you have Tyler Franks, who had an impressive victory against not a victory. Yeah, I forgot. Did he beat Max? did he just have a good outing against Max? I don't remember. Let's see. Yeah, he lost to Maxine Taylor, but it was a pretty decent outing. He lost to Tom Latimer, but also a very good outing for him. So this will be his third time on Power. And we'll see what he's able to do in the ring tonight against your television champion, Carson Drake. Now, again, this was filmed back in February, so we already know the result of this match is that Carson Drake retains somehow. Also, the other Frank will be wrestling tonight. Kerry Morton takes on Frank in the Jack Stain Memorial Title Tournament. Again, very interesting. Last I think it was 2 weeks ago, Silas Mason was surprised, shocked, was upset by Colby Carino when Kerry Morton's knee came into play. I wonder what kind of retribution Kerry Morton will face because of that. See if Silas Mason gets involved. And again, the Money Birds take on Pretty Empowered. That's Kenzie and Kylie Page on this week's episode of Power. Again, now this was filmed back in February. I don't understand why this isn't a title match. And instead of Kylie, it's not Big Mama. But again, I do say this all the time that championship matches should be the result of wins and losses. And the Money Birds have had one match in the NWA, so it's only fitting that they get at least another W before the challenges for the tag titles. New Day sucks just like the Slime Balls. Damn. New Day rocks. New Day rocks. Card is subject to change. Bobby Batista. That is absolutely right. Things always can change. Things can always change. Good call, Bobby. But I think that's going to do it for us this week on the Pre-Party with J. Cal, the All New, All Different. Speaking of All New, All Different, this week, Alliance Guys podcast is going to have Alliance Guys podcast, that's what I said. Have a very different look. Of course, I mentioned earlier, DPM will be joining us this week, and he is taking some time away from the live stream to focus on some other goals and ambitions. So he won't be joining us. But we will have some replacements that I will be announcing soon, and we'll have a lot of fun. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me here in the chat today. I appreciate you guys being a part of this community called the Alliance Fam, or the NWA Fam, whatever you want to call it. Sound off on the comment section. Are you going to be at Crockett Cup? Tell me your T-shirt size, and if you're going to be at Crockett Cup, so I can get a T-shirt made for you. In the meantime, we will be back on Thursday to do some more Talk NWA with you guys. And until then, we'll see you at the matches. Thanks for checking out the Pre-Party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. You should hit that subscribe button and join our community. I also want to remind you that we recap NWA Power every Thursday at 8 p.m. in the live stream. We try to stay social, so find us at the Alliance blog. And until next time, we are the Alliance.